David, a couple of places to start, but since we've been devoting so much time to this whole Pierre Poilievre, Valerie Plante decision, calling her incompetent, we heard from listeners, we used it as a question earlier on. I want to get a take here because when I heard you this morning, and you've been sitting in for Elias all week, you actually think what he did was a smart decision, am I right?
Politically, yes.
Okay.
In terms of political communications, I think it's a very smart move.
Okay, so there are two sort of steps, if you will, two angles to this story. One is technical, the other, as you just said, is political. Mm-hmm. Technically, we've acknowledged here that he's wrong by saying the federal government gives money directly to the municipalities. Both mayors have come out and said that, right?
Right. The thing is that the federal government, municipalities are provincial creatures, right? In the Constitution, it's clear municipalities are a provincial jurisdiction. Quebec is the only province in Canada that enacted a law which says that all federal money has to transit through the provincial government that is ultimately destined to the municipalities.
Right. Okay.
So it's the only province, but you could see technically Premier Poilievre attaching conditions, say to public transit money.
David,
and say it could happen.
You just called him Premier Poilievre.
Oh, Prime Minister Poilievre. Sorry.
Either option
a little
is
ahead of ourselves there, I think, huh? Yeah. I want you to hear what Tom Mulcair had to say on the technical part. He said, politically, yeah, this is wrong. Or technically, rather, this is wrong. But politically, here's what Tom Mulcair said.
On the political level, the perception level, what's he trying to accomplish? Valerie Plante is immensely popular. Bruno Marchand, probably more so in Quebec City. He has no seats to lose in Montreal, but he's got a handful of seats around the Quebec City area. Is he intentionally putting those in danger?
So, David, is he wrong? Is he technically wrong?
Well, when you can say, with all due respect to Tom, there was a Leger poll during the holidays, and Valerie Plante has a 53% unfavorable, making her the third most unpopular politician in Quebec. And there's only Justin Trudeau and François Legault who are more unpopular. Now, here's the other thing. Same thing for Bruno Marchand. By the way, he has taken a massive hit politically since the disastrous tramway project. So, but again, I think that's besides the point. Do you really think Pierre Poilievre, by saying this, was targeting plateau voters in the next federal election? No. He's not talking to you, Aaron, in Griffintown. He's not talking to you, Natasha, in NDG. No. And he's not talking to me in Old Montreal. What is very interesting from this message is that, first of all, since he went online yesterday and put out these comments in the French media and the English-speaking media, but the French media has been talking about this nonstop. Today, I checked on LCN, the TVA all news channel. They covered it in the morning. They covered it mid-morning. They're covering it in the afternoon, and they're going to cover it tonight. And who is he talking to exactly? He's talking to francophone, white, suburban voters who don't feel heard right now. Because what he's doing, he's positioning himself. Context is key here. Do you think this is a fluke that Poilievre comes out with this now? After that, during the weekend, Yves-François Blanchet, the Bloc Québécois leader, came out with a big message saying, oh, Montreal is not like the rest of Quebec. Mm-hmm. What did Yves-François Blanchet do? He's staking out his narrative for the next federal election. He's talking nationalist themes. Do you think it's a fluke also that Justin Trudeau came to Montreal this week? And what is he talking about? What was his big quote? You guys covered it. It was, oh, Pierre Poilievre is like Trump. So Trudeau is road testing his narratives for the next election. So Pierre Poilievre, seeing this, is coming out, and this is no fluke. This is tested. This is very calculated political messaging. He's looking at about 15 to 20 ridings in the Quebec regions that he feels he can win. And these are regions where you have suburban voters that don't feel heard, and it's about pocketbook issues. So attacking big city mayors, and he's doing this, by the way, across Canada. He's attacking Olivia Chow. Does he think he's going to win in downtown Toronto? No. But he knows that by doing this, he's staking out a claim that he's the guy that cares about real issues. And what's the real issue? It's the cost of living and it's housing. This is right out of the Trump playbook. I know, and I'm not saying it's at that level, but the legendary image and the message when Trump announced his candidacy way back in 2015. Remember the Mexicans are all rapists and murderers comment? Everybody screamed. But in rural America, in MAGA America, it resonated. In Iowa, during the caucuses, by the way, on Monday, you know what was the number one issue for Republican voters? Voting in those caucuses that elected Trump 51% as their nominee? Immigration. In Iowa. Think about that. So the thing is that what he's doing right now, Pierre Poilievre is doing, he's connecting with voters that do not feel heard. And the progressive left, represented by Justin Trudeau, by Valérie Plante, by Olivia Chow in Toronto, by Bruno Marchand in Quebec City, they symbolize the disconnect between ordinary, hardworking, average Quebecers and Canadians. I'll give you a final example on this. In 2021, by the way, we've spoken more about Pierre Poilievre in the last 24 hours in Quebec, both in French and in English,
That
than
says
we
it all
have
right there.
than we have about Erin O'Toole, Andrew Scheer, and Stephen Harper combined since 2015. And that is huge, especially in rural French Quebec. So in 2021, the Bloc won the riding of Trois-Rivières by less than 100 votes against the Conservative candidate. This is how close a lot of these ridings ended. And so Pierre Poilievre is staking out his claim, just like Yves-François Blanchet did during the weekend, just like Justin Trudeau did on Tuesday in Montreal, talking about Trump. So I think this actually, and I'm not saying I'm pro-conservative or pro-Poilievre. What I'm saying is that from a political communications perspective, modern communications perspective, he's targeting a segment that he feels he can peel away from the Bloc to win several more ridings and get his numbers up. 10 seats for the Conservatives in 2021 under Erin O'Toole with 18% of the vote. He's already at 22. And with this, if he continues building on this narrative, that because Yves-François Blanchet's not talking about that, Trudeau can't talk about it. If he stakes out this narrative a lot and he gets a credible francophone voice to represent him in Quebec, I feel that this is a pathway to win not a majority of seats in Quebec, but more seats that can contribute to a Conservative government.
Help me out here. I have only one question, and obviously I don't have the same perspective you do, and I appreciate that you're saying this is a smart thing to do. If the focus here was on housing, and that was the only thing raised here, housing, right? Mm-hmm. People in the regions, that's not the issue there. I thought the housing issue is an issue in the big cities like Montreal and Quebec City.
Not at all, Aaron.
It's not?
No. Look it up. No,
I'm asking you, David.
Crisis. There's a housing crisis right now in Granby. There's a housing crisis right now in Saint-Jean-de-Beauce. There are housing crises everywhere. But beyond that, first of all, there's a housing crisis in Longueuil. This is no longer just a big city problem. And the other issue, the cost of housing, the cost of construction, the interest rates, everything, mortgages, the cost of a mortgage, housing is a national problem. That's why Poilievre is at 40% in the polls right now. He's been talking about housing for a year. This is not new.
So if housing is the issue, David, why not go after the provincial premiers opposed to individual city mayors?
That's what I'm trying to get at, Aaron. It's not the issue. You're looking at it, and I agree with you, it's the first level of it. The second level of the attack, he's attacking a progressive liberal establishment that is preventing ordinary people to get by. That's what he's doing. That's what Trump has been very successful in doing. This is from the right-wing playbook. It's not only just about the single issue, which it is, but it's about saying, look, I am hearing you. The left is not caring about you. I care. I'm going to stop this. I'm the person that is going to take care of this. I'm the one that's going to stop these people from fleecing you.
I think
that's
even
the
no
second
matter
level here.
I think no matter what the issue is, the bottom line is this has worked. It has been highly effective because we're talking about it. The whole
Yes.
province is talking about it.
Yes.
That to me, right there, it's effective. Unfortunately, very effective.
TVA is talking about it. That means the regions are talking about it. So right now, Mario Dumont, who is a leading columnist and a TV show host and a radio host, it was his first news item at 10 a.m. when he went on the air on SCN. And this afternoon at their debate panel show, it was the number one thing. So who's listening to that? The regions. And so I really think it's beyond just the question of housing, which is beyond just a downtown Montreal issue or a downtown Quebec City issue. It has grown out and has become an issue in smaller cities and towns. Sherbrooke has a problem with this. Gatineau has a problem with this. But beyond that, beyond the housing issue, beyond the technical, nobody, we can debate about, legally speaking and all this, but the message, what's the true message here? He's the one that's going to stop the problem. He's going to get things done for you. And people, I'm telling you, I've seen it in the regions. You can call him what you want, but, in certain circles, you'll talk about him like the people who are driving pickups, they don't feel represented in the political discourse right now.
For sure.
And Pierre Poilievre is reaching them. Because when you're talking about, Montreal and too much immigration, if you're a family of four and you're struggling with a mortgage and you have a grandparent at a horrible CHSLD, and you don't know where your kids are going to go to daycare, who's speaking to you? Because your mortgage is going to go up hundreds of dollars right now because there's a housing shortage.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you feel Justin Trudeau is speaking to you? No. Do you feel Yves-François Blanchet is speaking to you when he's always talking about nationalists and chicanes and this, that, and the other thing? No. So what is he trying to do here? He's trying to reach them about something they don't feel heard about. I'm analyzing it. I'm putting it through a political communications analysis, and I think it's a smart move.
Okay. David, I thank you. We appreciate you being here. Look, I don't want to rub
Love
it
the
in your face. I'm
passion.
going to switch topics here very quickly because we have to wrap up. This is NFL playoff weekend, right?
I think he knows.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Do you know who's not? You know who's not in it this weekend?
But you know who didn't make the playoffs? I know the New York Giants didn't even make the playoffs, Aaron.
He's always
While the
deflecting.
Cowboys made the playoffs.
Always
and
deflecting.
I also know that the Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowls and the Giants have won 4 Super Bowls.
Go Nuggets.
You know what? It's like arguing with Pierre Poilievre. David, have a great weekend. Enjoy the not playoffs.